Meanwhile, back at the ranch. So that's the chain that drives the oil pump. That's the mating surfaces that the sump goes onto. Is it interesting looking at the inside of a 422 Di engine? Hey, must be a oil level meter or something. There's the not picking up. There's the dipstick. What yellow thing there? Right, let's pop out and have a chat. Oh. Oh. That's the old oil pickup. It didn't look too bad. There wasn't much crap in it. And what have we been up to? There wasn't much crap in the old oil pickup feed tube thing. And that's the sump pan. That's just, I've been using the sump pan as a sump to catch all the crap that come down off the engine. So that job is not difficult, but it is a total pain in the backside. You're lying on your back, you're getting covered in oil. If you don't like getting oil under your fingernails, I wouldn't suggest doing this yourself. Right, so that's all been cleaned up. I just need to give it a little wipe down with some petrol or white spirit. The gasket came off that quite easily. It didn't come off the underside of the engine as easily. What did I use? Is it Scotch-Brite you call it? Soaked in petrol, then little wire-faced brushes and stuff like that. Now I ripped these bolts out. Four of them hold the fuel pump in, and 2 of them hold the oil pickup in. I noticed this. And when I noticed it, I thought to myself, you should have paid more attention to where these nuts and bolts come out of the sun. But fortunately, that's a different thread size from the rest of them. So well done, Ford. That can only go into one hole. And I didn't spend time making a note of where the different bolt sizes came from, but it should be fairly obvious when I go to bolt the thing back together. So this job, if you don't like lying on your back getting covered in engine oil, this is not the job for you. Right, I presume, don't quote me on it, but I presume this one here, is that a banjo fitting you call that? It's some oil feed that goes into the, you don't get that wrong, do you? It's got to be that one, hasn't it? So the one with the hole in it, oil must come down from the engine into that pipe to the lubricator or something. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Again, because it's a different thread size, you can't put it in the wrong place, which is really, really good. So the good news is, or the bad news is, when I took the old oil pump out, oh wait a minute, might be able to see one. There you go. See that? Little shards of metal fell out the pump. So when I took the sump off and checked it, there were no big end bearings in there, connecting rods, camshafts, any of that stuff. I think this engine's in pretty good condition. To take the sump off to inspect it, there was no point in not swapping over the oil pump. I got that from Ford and it was like 70 quid. I'm going to do a review of that Ford garage. You guys were absolutely brilliant. So this is the old one. It still seems to rotate okay. Not making any mad noises or anything. But as I said, when I took it out, shards of metal started falling on me. So it's been a lot of work, but I did the right thing. I'm fairly sure if it's not totally whacked. It was on its way out, so all that dirt and hard work and all that type of stuff was worth it in the end, because that would have ended up humping my engine. So I'm going to say you did the right thing. The oil light come on. It looked as if oil was pumping through the engine. Hopefully that will put the oil light back out when it goes back on. If it doesn't, I've got the peace of mind. I know that it's a new pump. The other thing I might do is change the oil filter again. It was about £6 or £7. Where did the oil, the shards of metal came from? Can we find a pickup? Right, this is old oil pickup. So the shards of metal, there's a gauze in here, and again it doesn't look particularly bad. Nah, this camera's not picking up, isn't it? That's not blocked up. That could be the other thing that sent the light, would set the light off, wouldn't it? If that was blocked up with crud, it wouldn't pick up oil. So that's not blocked up with crud. But there's a gauze in here, and the pieces of metal fell out of there. So I'm thinking that the pump's destroyed itself and it fell back, trapped itself against that gauze, not falling into the sump, which is great. Not falling back into the sump, and above the oil pump is the filter. So if there's any pieces of metal at all, it's been caught at the bottom section of the engine between that piece of gauze and the oil filter. Thank God for that, eh? I'm a bit of an atheist. I'm not good. Thank goodness, thank the Ford designers, thank the 100 years of development that went behind these things to get to this point, that inadvertently that was some kind of safety device. So that's today's update. I think I'm going to bolt this back on. I'll take my time to make sure. I'll show you that bolt again. There is one bolt out, the 4 of them. It's got that little hole in it, right? Now, don't use this video as the definitive that bolt definitely goes in there, but